Welcome to WeekNGeek, your weekly comics preview for October, book shipping October 19th. I am the Chris Brown.
And I'm Tony Miello, in for Mike Ortiz, who's on assignment.
Yeah, I like that. On assignment. That's good. That's it. Now people are going to be looking for his homework.
Yeah, well, you know.
So what do you got this week there, Tony?
I got a short stack, but I'm going to start off with BPRD number 2 of 5, Hell on Earth. I really like BPRD. I mean, I'm a sucker for anything Mignola does. I'm a big fan of BPRD. I was drawn into it originally because of Guy Davis's artwork. I'm a big, giant Guy Davis fan, and he's not on the book now, but the new guy they have, Tyler Crook, is fantastic. He is his artwork is similar. You can see there might be an influence there.
It looks like it's almost in between Mignola and Guy Davis.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But the feel of the book is the same. He's gritty without being overshadowy, and this book is just a fantastic read. One thing that Mignola is not afraid to do is do storylines that are going to heavily affect his characters. Things change in this universe all the time. The characters don't stay stagnant. There's a lot of growth, and I really enjoy that about this book. My next book is Butcher, Baker Candlestick Maker, from The Boys. I don't know if you're a Boys fan. Butcher is the guy. He's the head honcho with The Boys, and now you're getting his whole backstory, and you're finding out why he is the way he is. And this is going to wrap things up, and I think you're going to find out why he has such a hatred for the Seven and what the great loss in his life was. So I think this is going to be a really good read, and I'm looking forward to this one. Is that the
last part?
This is the last part, I believe. It's issue 4, and I believe this is the last part of this mini.
Okay.
So
cool. Check that one out.
Yeah. Next is Dark Horse Presents issue 5. Now, I read issue 1. I haven't read the other 3. I still have them at home. But it's an anthology book, and I love anthology books. I'm a sucker for an anthology book. If I find an anthology book, I'm going to pick it up because I like being able to get a sampling of stories from different creators in one sitting, and that's what I like about Dark Horse Presents. I liked it back when they did it in the 80s and the early 90s, and I was so happy to hear that they were bringing it back. So I mean,
I like that format too.
Yeah,
the little bit thicker and
prestige thing, and you're getting more story. I mean, you look at this artwork; it's just there's quality work in here.
Oh yeah,
and if you're a fan of storytelling, graphic storytelling, this is something you really want to pick up because you're really going to get a taste of a bunch of different. Quality stories in this book. Next is Kevin Smith's The Bionic Man number 3. I wasn't expecting much of this when I first picked it up, but I was a big $6 Million Man fan when I was a kid.
Sure.
I mean, who in my generation wasn't? And Kevin Smith is a huge pop culture junkie, so you know that with him doing it, he was going to kind of pay homage, and he did. It's different. The characters are not what they were back in the 70s, but there are little nods to the original series, and it's fun. It's been a fun read up to now.
It's based on his movie script, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's based on his original script that they never wound up using, but it's a good book, and it's I mean, if you're a nostalgia junkie like I am, it's a fun little read. Next is Xenoholics number 1, which is new from Image. I first found out about this book from my friend Dirk Manning, who is friends with Seth DeMose, who's the artist on this book. And I think I met Seth DeMose for the first time at, I think it was the first C2E2. Okay. And Dirk Manning was talking this book up big time. And I'm really looking forward to reading this book. The premise of the book is pretty much that there are these people who were abducted by aliens, and they liked it, and they're like addicted to it. So, that's going to be the catalyst for it. And I mean, Dirk said to me that this is going to do for alien abduction what Chew did for cannibalism. So, I'm on board. I'm ready to go. I want to see what this is going to be all about. That's a pretty
solid recommendation.
Yeah. So
Image has been doing some great stuff.
I'm for a while there. Image was putting out a lot of just iffy stuff. But lately, the new stuff I've been picking up from Image, I've really been enjoying.
Yeah, me too.
I don't read. I don't have time to read as much as I did. So I'm really selective with what I'm reading. But the stuff I've picked up from Image lately, I've really enjoyed. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Yes, they are.
They're what Dark Horse was in the 80s and 90s. That's how I feel about it.
And that's my
book your stack.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to start this week here with Batman number 2. We're in the middle of October. We got our number 2s out of our new 52s. Batman was my second favorite out of the new 52s so far. Scott Snyder's writing it. Greg Capullo's doing the art. I am not even a Batman fan. And what I tell people is it's not that I dislike Batman. I just don't like Batman. Just not a Batman fan. If it's a good story, I'll check it out, and I get excited about the dynamics of Batman when used properly, but I won't just read Batman to read Batman. Now, Spider-Man could be the worst book on the stands, and I'll still read it, no matter how bad it is.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, too.
Yeah, but Batman, I'm just not like that. But this book, and this is, basically, I'm saying all of this stuff as kind of a preface so you understand what it means that I like this book as much as I do. If I'm not a huge fan and this is blowing me away, it's because this is a good book.
Yeah.
That first issue was freaking fantastic. Scott Snyder captures a mood like no one else in comics right now. He is really, really a fantastic writer. I felt a little surprised by a couple of things that happened in the last book. And with a book like Batman, how many surprises could there possibly be in there? We know Batman. We've seen it all from Batman, right?
Well,
not really.
With the reset, how you finding that the reset is affecting you as a reader?
I'm liking
coming in and
I'm having fun with the reset. I think it's the argument between Marvel and DC. There's a definite difference in the two books, but no one can ever really put a finger on why exactly they're different. I'm feeling now with DC, they've still got the dynamic of the DC books, but there's a little Marvel stuff going on with like lots of character crossovers, and I can just read a book and have fun with the book, and it's just, now granted you can't do that with Marvel these days, but when I was reading Marvel as a teenager, that's kind of what this stuff was, and I find more DC books in my stack right now. I'm really having a good time with what they're doing. So following on the heels of Batman there, we're going to go next to Red Hood and the Outlaws, number 2. I liked this book despite all of the things I really didn't like about it. And what I really didn't like about it is the same thing that everybody else is complaining about. Really? Starfire's a slut? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, this whole Starfire, she has no memory of what's going on. She's an alien. All humans look the same. And she's just sleeping around. It's really weird to me in comics. I just don't get it.
Maybe in her alien world, that's just how people say hello.
You know what? And that's all well and good, but in comics, I don't know. It seems a little much.
I think there's been a trend lately in not just the DC books, but in a lot of books where they're putting in a lot of adult elements into the stories. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a prude by any stretch of the imagination.
Me neither.
But I think if you want to get new readers, you really have to curtail that stuff.
Yes.
I'm not saying not to put it in at all, but just lighten up on it because there seems to be a lot of it now.
Starfire there's not a lot of female characters and there's not a lot of women who read comic books.
Yeah.
Starfire should be a character that a teenage girl could come in here and check out. This isn't the first book I'm going to recommend to a mom for her 13-year-old daughter. You should love this. Starfire is a total slut.
But it's not. Awesome. It's not type of. I mean, if that's going on, it's not the type of book you're going to recommend for a 13-year-old boy either.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not at all. But what I'm saying is there's so few role models for young girls reading comics as it is. When you have a character who could be, and you just kind of drop the ball on it. Now, having said that, I liked the book. I liked the characterization of Jason Todd, and I even was fine with Arsenal, who I'm not that familiar with. But overall, I enjoyed the writing of the book, even though there were a couple things.
It's got an awesome cover.
It really is.
A lot going on.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the art in the book, I think, is really solid. Like, it's been good. Just let's hope they solve this, Starfire thing here. I'm going to jump over and do some Marvel here. Then we've got Avengers, number 18. I don't really know. We've just gotten past Fear Itself. So it looks like it's probably looks like I probably shouldn't be checking out too much here because it looks like there's some things that are aftermath of Fear Itself. The artwork looks great. I think the artwork looks really fun. Maybe they're just going back and recapping Civil War. Okay, so maybe we'll go back and recapping Civil War and getting us up to date on all that stuff that's going on. But Avengers has been a solid book. I think Brian Michael Bendis has a really solid hand on those characters and
even
what
if
he's
he does
trying
get
to,
a little wordy sometimes.
He is so wordy. So wordy. But you get an idea of who these characters are. I mean, character development's all there. If you're looking for characters to punch each other, they're not going to do it in a Bendis book.
Or at least not in 1 to 4, maybe in 5.
Exactly. Yeah. Then we've got this Avengers 1959. This is springing out of that kind of little backstory thing that was going on in the New Avengers.
Okay.
Howard Chaykin was doing this. They were doing these flashbacks to a different team, and Chaykin was doing all of that. And it's got like Nick Fury and Kraven and Sabretooth all on this team. First issue was pretty good. You know, I liked it. I think, again, I love the team, though. Kraven, Namora, Dominic Fortune, Sabretooth, Nick Fury, just really fun stuff. I'm starting to, and I've said this before, I don't always love Howard Chaykin's stuff, but it's starting to grow on me a little.
Yeah, it's his work is the type of work you need to really be exposed to a lot of it.
Yes.
Although I am seeing some Frank Quarterly in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is.
A little
and
bit.
I'm not a fan of Quarterly at all.
No?
No,
I kind of like him.
There's something about his line work that I find very off-putting.
The edges of all these characters look like Quietly, but the insides, like if you look at the outside of the character,
well, that's like if you
but
go
once
back
you
a
get
couple
inside,
of pages,
not so much.
There's a couple of little stray ink marks on the face, on the face.
Okay.
It's just very much like here, it's very Quarterly there.
Yeah.
But very Chaykin features.
And yeah, I like his stuff. It was one of those things like I wasn't sure how I felt, as a kid, but I always knew it felt sophisticated.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get into it, and I read that first issue, and I was like, okay, this doesn't unnerve me as much as it used to. So yeah, the Avengers 1959's been a fun book there. Then we've got Fear Itself, Book 7. Finally wrapping this baby up.
Well,
of course, it's not really wrapping it up because it's just going into the next thing.
And isn't there going to be a 7.1 or something?
Well, there's going to be a 0.1. There's also another thing I got in here, which we'll kind of lump together with it. But this should wrap up this to some degree, and at least I guess it's going to wrap up this story. We're going to get rid of Seth the Serpent or whatever and move on to all the 0.1s.
I have to be honest. I'm a Marvel guy. I've been a Marvel guy for a long time. I had to tap out.
This story was boring for a long time.
So many of these big giant crossover events, they tie you in. You got to read so many books, and it's not worth it. It's never worth it. And so
not enough payoff.
I said, you know what? I can't do it this time. I gotta avoid it. So I just.
But in this one, I think is even a little bit more shameless in that it's literally just leading into the next event, which leads me to Fear Itself, the Fearless, which is now a 12-issue deal, and it's coming right out of Fear Itself. I mean, what is your plan, Marvel? I mean, what I was just saying about DC and the old, it feels like the old Marvel stuff where you can just pick up a book and read it and have fun. You can't do that with a lot of the Marvel stuff.
I think that Marvel was smart by releasing the last issue of the previous story and the first issue of the new story on the same day, because you haven't read either of them yet. You're picking them both up. You're going to read them, and now you're hooked in.
Yep, yeah, that's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
That's certainly what they're hoping, and I think this is probably going to be a better read if you jump right out of the Fear Itself. So, let's hold off on that one for a minute. We'll come to that one. Let's go back to my DC New 52s and Justice League number 2. I thought the first issue was okay. Yeah. I didn't love it as much as a lot of other people did it, only because I didn't feel like a lot had happened. I felt like it was a lot of setup.
I'm going to be honest with you. I started it and I put it down.
Oh, really?
I didn't even finish it. No.
Yeah, not a lot happens. The hardest thing for me about this book, I felt this was a situation the most in this DC stuff where I really had to unlearn everything I already knew. I had to forget that I know all of the
whole thing in the New 52 is.
It is, but this I felt it was more severe.
Yeah.
Because Batman taking the ring off of Green Lantern, okay, they just showed you that Batman's a badass. But they also just showed you that Green Lantern's a dumbass. And they also just showed you that the Green Lantern ring is not powerful enough to keep Batman from taking
it off his hand, yeah.
That sat a little weird for me. And I know the Batman fans were all like, but Batman took Green Lantern's ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Batman took Green Lantern's ring. I don't know. So the artwork, of course, looked great. Yeah, Jim Lee's stuff is incredible. I do like Jeff Johns. Generally, I think he's got a great handle on these characters, but I felt his pace was a little slow in this book, for me.
Yeah.
But, Superman shows up, hey, guys, what powers do you got? Now, hopefully, here's where we get our little superhero duke 'em out before it's like, oh, now we're buddies again.
Yeah.
You know, it's always that superheroes got to fight until they realize they're buddies, and then they hug it out, and then they're friends. So then this one looks like just fun, and this is a favorite of mine every single month. Tiny Titans number 45. You know, Art Baltazar, friend of the show.
Yep.
Hey. So, what's up, Art? So this just a great book. It's a great kids book. It's like we always say this. While this is a good kids book and it's a great place for kids to start reading.
It's just a fun read, though.
It's fun. Adults love it too.
Month after month. I mean, I buy this for my son, but I sit down and I read it.
Oh, sure.
So I mean, it's a fun book.
I don't.
It's everything a comic book should be. It should be entertaining. And that's exactly what you get. You sit down and you're entertained for the duration of the time it takes you to read these 22 pages. It's fun artwork. It's a fun story. I can't recommend this book highly enough.
No, neither can I. And the girl I'm dating, Kelly, has a son, Sal, and he's learning to read through this. You know, he liked all the other superheroes, but then when he got into this, he's just like, oh my God, because they feel that it kind of has a Captain Underpants vibe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were reading the Captain Underpants to your kids, sure. So they enjoy it on that regard, and Sal runs around saying, you know, I've caught him saying, oh yeah, and you know, it's just fun. So he has a good time with that one. Then Journey into Mystery, number 629. I really like this book. I cannot say enough good things about it. I think Kieran Gillen's doing some really, really stellar writing. This looks like it's drawn by Will Spertasio, at least part of it.
Wow, good.
Well, he doesn't do a lot these days. That's kind of fun to see his stuff.
Good to see him working. I mean, he's a quality artist, and we just don't see enough out of him.
We really don't. Some great artwork. I like this book because it's following young Loki, you know, and it's just really, really fun stories. I don't feel bogged down by all the other details of what's going on in the rest of the Marvel Universe, even though it is tying in. I still feel like if I just wanted to read about Loki, I could just read Loki and I'd be fine. And so Journey into Mystery, great book, which leads us to our top picks.
My top pick this week is Sergio Aragonés's Funnies, number 4.
I love that book.
If you are...
in any way, magazine?
Yeah, I mean, any way, shape, or form, a fan of just cartoonists, cartoons in general. You can't get better than Sergio Aragonés. The man is a master storyteller. He is a master craftsman of the art of cartooning. His stuff it doesn't disappoint. It's fun to look at. There's always so much going on in the panels and the backgrounds, and he tells an entertaining story. They're short little vignettes. They're all very quick and funny.
Some of them are autobiographical.
He does do autobiographical stories in here. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I've been enjoying his artwork, and from Mad Magazine from when I was a kid. I mean,
that's where
when I first discovered those little. The drawings in the columns and the edge, the gutters.
Yeah. Yep.
I pulled all my Mad magazines out to re-look at them all so I could find all his little drawings.
What was the bloopers and practical jokes? He used to do all the animated
he did all the animated stuff for that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's awesome. I can't tout him highly enough. Sergio Aragonés is a god to me in this industry, and I think everybody should be supporting this book. It's a lot of fun.
Agreed. And so, as he's a huge influence in cartooning, that brings me to my top pick, which is, I don't know, hopefully Mike can build us a graphic, but I'm going to show it up here. Gapo the Clown, Big, Fat, and Greasy.
That's it.
Collection of Tony Miello's comic strips. Now, you mostly do this online as well.
It's a web strip. Yeah.
It's a web strip. It's really funny stuff. Gapo is a nasty individual. He is just a miserable clown. Really fun stuff, and as I got this book in my hands, you are going to be able to buy this at Comics and More tomorrow. Tony's going to be here doing a signing.
First time ever, yes. It's a world debut of Gapo the Clown's Big, Fat, and Greasy.
And we're going to be excited to have Tony here. He's going to be here from noon to 5 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Signing your books. How much is this going to be?
In the store, it'll be $10.
$10. You cannot beat that.
During the signing.
How many strips? 365
There's
strips?
376 strips in there, I believe.
Okay. So it's a nice big store, like there's little stories.
146 pages. It contains all the black and white strips that I had done on the website and for print. Because I had done, when I had collected the strips for print, I did extra stuff. So
it's got everything.
Everything. This is the black and white omnibus.
Excellent. So now we're going to segue into a little interview here. Where did Gapo the Clown come from in your mind?
In my mind, well, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so
Okay.
my primary job is taking care of my son. And when he was young and, just crawling around, whatever, we'd put on the, kids' TV for him, and he'd watch the Disney Channel a lot. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen The Wiggles, but it was mind-numbing. I hated it. I hated it with a fiery passion. And I kind of, in my twisted little head, grew Gapo out of seeing these four little men in funny colored shirts singing and dancing about, I don't know,
and
salad and things like that.
Your ire for them
and
exploded
into this. I'm like, I said a kid's show should be hosted by just some surly, obnoxious, disgusting clown. And so I did it. I did some comic strips and
Gapo does a kids show.
Yes, he
but
hosts a kids show.
It doesn't always follow the kids show. It's a lot of the behind the stuff, politics.
It's mostly the stuff off camera.
Yeah.
He's disgusting. He's mean. He's nasty. But since he's on TV, everybody loves him. The kids love him. The parents love him because he's on television. It's kind of my little political statement of, people are on television, they get away with with anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but this is him dealing with his coworkers and everything, and they know that he's a disgusting degenerate, but nobody else seems to care.
You'd almost have to be a clown.
I've never liked clowns, even as a kid. I'm just not a fan.
They have this nasty persona about them. Like, just kids are scared of them, and then John Wayne Gacy, and just like, clowns? Really? I don't know.
I think it's something that went the way of the dinosaur.
It kind of has. I wonder if kids still have the same fear of clowns, because I don't think they're the same anymore.
I haven't been to a circus in a long time, so I don't even know if they still have clowns at the circus. I mean, I assume they do. But...
I assume, but I think it's a different. It's not the art it used to be.
No,
certainly
not at all.
And now kids shows are hosted by all kinds of weird.
Yeah. I mean,
so, now how long have you been doing this?
I've
this
been
strip?
doing Gapo since 2004.
Okay, so you've been doing it for 7 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then now this is the first time you've collected everything.
First time it's all been. This is from the first comic strips I did for when I first started it. I was doing the strips for an APA, Amateur Press Alliance.
Okay.
Which is pretty much a bunch of people from around the country would do work, send it all into one person, and they'd combine it into a little magazine and then send it out to all the members.
Okay.
And that's where the first strips were done. And this was before I found out that strips are on the web. And when I put Gapo up on the web, I'm like, I'm going to put my comic strip up on the web. This will be great. I'll be a visionary. And then I found out that there had to be hundreds of them out there. So
right. Now, do you have a pretty good following on?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, the following tripled when I went to color.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's in color now.
On the web it's not in color, but this is all the black and white stuff.
Yeah.
So you could get your start here, pick up this book tomorrow, and then you could keep it on with the
GapoTheClown.com. Every Tuesday and Friday, new strips go up. So we just returned from our summer hiatus, and Gapo is currently lost in space, and you get to find out what's going to happen to him.
Everyone ends up in space eventually.
Eventually. It's the final frontier.
If Josie and the Pussycats and Jason and Gilligan have been there,
right.
Why not Gapo?
Why not Gapo the Clown?
So you got anything else? Anything else you'd like to inform our viewers of?
You come on down to Comics and More tomorrow, and the first 10 people to come in and buy the book are going to get a print for free.
Excellent.
Absolutely free. So.
Very cool. Well, we will see you all here tomorrow, noon to 5. Tony Miello selling copies of Gapo the Clown for $10. You cannot beat that with a stick.
Can't beat that with a stick.
And we'll see you tomorrow. With that, that is your Week in Geek.